Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So, in last episode, we had the Year 8 draft, and I would say it was an okay one considering the limitations of the series and also what some other teams drafted. As you can see with our first pick, we drafted William Bake, who obviously will be a very useful shortstop or second baseman in the future for this team, which is nice. So I do really like William Bake. Some of the other picks actually could end up being decent, like Russell Lim, for instance, has very good contact hitting, so I think he should be able to easily outgrow that C potential and hopefully become a decent hitter at the MLB level at some point. And then we also had some other okay picks like Pete Kuo, who's got 79 potential. Tom Cho isn't very good. You have Sal Chen, who's got somewhat a decent potential, but he is a 47 at 19, so very low overall, but a little bit of a project, so it should be interesting to see if he develops into being a decent right fielder for us. Irabu wasn't very good of a pick, but the good thing about him is he's only 18, so maybe he could actually outgrow that deep potential at some point, but he does have a little bit of a low overall and obviously that low potential. And then we also drafted Koji Yamazaki, who looks like he could be okay as well. So I do think we did decent, like I said, compared to some other teams. Like if we go through this list a little bit here, you can see most of these teams also had pretty similar drafts to us. So there was teams with worse drafts, like the Cubs, for instance, who just drafted a bunch of D potential guys, some C potential guys, but in general, I'd say we had an okay draft considering the limitations and also how weak of a draft class this draft class was. So it wasn't too bad with that. And yeah, we simulated more of the season as well, obviously, to try and sign those guys. And we went 17-93 so far. So we've won more games than expected this season. I didn't expect us to get up to this point. I was expecting at least 10 wins, but I wasn't expecting to maybe hit 20 wins this year, which is definitely something we should be able to do now. In the last two seasons combined, we've had 15 wins, so this year already is a success by any standard, and I'm excited to see if this team could hit 20 wins and what goes into like next few seasons. Like, are we going to start hitting 30 wins? Are we going to start getting 40 wins? Getting closer to 500 eventually down the road. Like, it's going to be exciting to see how this team progresses from here on out. But anyways, before we get into the rest of the simulation and the off season of this season, let's get in your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say about last episode. And then, yeah, we'll simulate through more of the season to see if we hit 20 wins. And we'll also see what ends up happening in terms of this off season and seeing if we could pretty much get this roster set up for a good spot for next year and also a good draft class potentially for next year as well, because that would be very nice if we could get a good draft class to just set us over the top, so to speak. So the first comment is from Dylan Burrows, who says, I didn't see Watanabe prior. That's a bummer. Tom Koo and Kevin Sato get an automatic +3 along with the season ending for all-star appearance. Also, I'd say either give some of the guys long-term deals or bridge deals where you still have control. And so, yeah, with the contract situation going into this off-season, yeah, I think obviously we'll probably give most of these, like some of these guys bridge deals, probably like Sato, Tom Koo, Yamazaki, that type of thing. But for Walter Jung, he is getting closer to the end of his status with the RNW, which I don't remember exactly what that stands for, but he's getting closer to being arbitration eligible, which means he's also getting closer to being tested as a free agent. So I think giving him like a little bit of a term deal would make sense, even though he hasn't been the best at points. It's kind of a weird stat for him because you can see that he's not winning a lot of games, right? And you can also see that he's got a low quality start, so it doesn't seem like he's been pitching that well. However, you go to the FIP rating, and you can see that his FIP is actually very, very good this season. So I honestly don't know how he's simulating so bad and also so good at the same time. It's very strange, but we will definitely try and lock him up so that way we at least have our number 2 or number 3 potential guy down the road signed for at least 8 seasons. So we're going to definitely try and sign him long term. We still have a lot of contract control with Stan Union for a while, so I won't give him a long-term deal yet. And then some of the other guys, like I think it was Sato. Yeah, Sato is very close to being a tested and free agent, so maybe we give him a long-term deal just because of that. Tom Koo is also getting close to being available for free agency, so maybe we give him a long-term deal. But guys like Yamazaki aren't going to be free agents for a while, so we could definitely give them like 2-3 year deals just to get them a little bit of a trial run before we actually give them their big contracts. The next comment is from Nick Bucker Barons OC, who says, against lefties, you could get William Big to hit better by putting him in a good spot for RBIs with his 49 clutch. So, yeah, we'll try and get Big into that spot to get some good RBIs. So maybe like in the number 4 or the number 8 spot, something like that, to knock in a few runs when he gets obviously into, probably he'd be in like AAA next season, but he could be in AA because we are going to have a ton of prospects, obviously, in our lineup. So we'll be interested to see who ends up getting designated where. The next 2 comments are from Xavi Ronaldo. The first one says, Bake's arm could be better for a shortstop. I'd consider moving him to the second base if that doesn't improve. BR is base running, so base running aggressiveness. Also a tip when simulating, you could use the Y button without having to go through that little menu every time to select sim through date. Also, don't sleep on relief pitchers. Relief pitchers have the lowest overalls of all pitchers. They're better than their overalls. So yeah, we don't want to definitely sleep on relief pitchers. We've been drafting some really good relievers anyways. So I think we've been doing a decent job like Sato, Koo, and then we've obviously drafted a few in this year's upcoming draft like Quo, who could be decent. We also have Philippa Rabu, who maybe outgrows that potential. So I do think we've been doing a pretty good job at drafting pitchers. It's just been more than infielders that have been more of a problem with our drafting so far. But at the same time, I'm thinking with this team, we don't necessarily need the flashy high overall infielders and outfielders. We just need guys that could actually have good contact attributes and stuff like that. And if we have good pitchers around them, we should be able to win games, which will be very, very, very nice. Xavi also says, mate, stop putting Discovery in the first scouting slot. I'm pretty sure it makes no difference to Discovery and you're losing out on gaining as much interest for the player. And yeah, I got to stop doing that. I think the reason why I was doing that to begin with is I was thinking for some reason if you had that Discovery set the first, you would actually be able to discover more prospects or more likely to discover more prospects, but it doesn't seem to have been doing anything. So we'll probably end up putting it in the number 3 slot, and then all the individual players will be in the top 2 spots because that way I'll get their interest much higher. So for next year's draft and whatnot, we'll try and remember to do that so it gets a lot of interest higher for the top picks that we have in the drafts, especially if there's a good draft ahead. We want that to be like that. The next comment is from Ryan the Sharky, who says, my heart is broken that Luis didn't get signed. Hopefully he goes back into the draft and gets signed by Baltimore. Also, yearly Louis inspection. I think it's been a year. I think you leave Chung in the minors until the beginning of next year for some extra development. 4, I think Jung should get long-term front-loaded extension for about 8 years. Not sure about the money though. And number 5, does Tom Lee get a boost in the offseason if he wins Rookie of the Year? Okay, so let's start with the beginning one. Luis unfortunately did not get signed by, I forget what team he got drafted by, but he didn't get signed by the team he got drafted by, unfortunately, because obviously there's Lewis, and now there's Luis, so I'm hoping Luis obviously gets drafted again next year. But let's do the not yearly, what am I trying to say? Jeez, I'm saying everything twice because of friggin' Louis. Goddamn. But anyways, let's see where Louis is at the moment, see if he's doing anything decent. He is currently in AA. Not putting up the best numbers. He must be off the bench. Yeah, he's playing off the bench, it looks like, because he's only played 17 at-bats so far, 6 games, which is not great. He is growing. He's currently injured at the moment with a pulled groin, let's just say. So yeah, there is the yearly update on Louis. Obviously, we'll do the same once Luis gets drafted, but that's if we remember. He was also saying about leaving Chung in the minors till the beginning of next season, which I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I do really like Chung, and I want him in the majors as soon as possible, but I think he's killing it right now in AAA. Might as well let him play some meaningful baseball in AAA, and yeah, he'll probably be in the major leagues next season, which means he'll probably win more games because we'll actually have a legit closer that could close down games, which is nice. So very excited for the future when Chung is into the bullpen. He's also saying that Jung should get a long-term front-loaded contract for about 8 years, which is probably what I am going to try and do. If we go offer contract right now and we go to 8 years and we go front-loaded, you can see that for 6+ years, he wants $28.5 million a season. That's average around. So it is going to be pretty expensive. But I think obviously it's doing the front-loaded thing will obviously work out in our favor because obviously we have a lot of cap space right now. And it'll make him cheaper later on when he is getting older and probably dropping off. And about the Tom Lee situation, if he wins Rookie of the Year, I don't know exactly, but I feel like he'll probably get a +5 if he wins Rookie of the Year just because I think when Nick usually does the plus attributes for players, players and stuff like that, he usually says +5 for like the Ozzie Cardenas Award, which is usually one of the best players on the team. So I think he'll probably end up getting a +5 if he wins Rookie of the Year. I think regardless, he's going to get a +5 just based on like the home runs he's been hitting. So will be interesting to see what Nick decides to give him for a boost, and also Dylan if Dylan decides to put out his prospect pool report as well. And the last comment is from Tarantula. What's with everything being double, really? He says, whatever happened to the 73 to 79-ish overall and potential closer? So that guy actually disappeared. I looked him up just before I recorded this episode. Unfortunately, it seems like he is nowhere. We'll take a look in the offseason again just to make sure. But his name was Jason Irabu, and I looked him up earlier, and I could not find him at all. Like, their only Irabus are listed are Ken, who we have, and Eric, who is with the White Sox at the moment. So I don't know what happened to the closer in Jason Irabu, but if he appears again, obviously we'll see if he's in free agency or not. Maybe we could sign him up, considering he might not have got drafted. But obviously, if he doesn't appear, that will kind of suck. And honestly, I wish we would have been able to draft that guy, because that guy would have definitely given us a bit more depth at the closing pitcher position. So anyways, those were the comments we got in last episode. Let's see if we can give Walter Jung already his 8-year extension. I feel like we might have to wait till the offseason to do some of these contracts, just because it was the same thing last year when we were trying to give Iwamura his contract. So if we go 2 years or 8 years front loaded, what are we going to have to offer him per season? I should have probably did the max thing first and then to scroll down, but we'll just keep it on this for a while. See what we're going to have to offer him. Front-loaded deal. Yeah, this might end up being pretty pricey. You know what? I'm going to do it the opposite way instead. Here. So we're going to go back to make an offer. We're going to go to 1 year. Actually, not 1 year, 2 years. And we're going to go front-loaded. We're going to just go this down all the way and tell the most. And then we're going to change this to 8 years and then change it from there. So $80 million, we change this up to 8 years, and I will just keep going down until that interest meter isn't like super, super high. A little bit. See what the minimum we could probably offer him is. But I don't know if we're going to be able to sign him right now. We might have to wait till the offseason to get this part done. But obviously, I think it's important. I know Jung has been a little bit of a mixed bag, but locking him up is kind of important just to give that more depth in terms of pitching. Obviously, we do have a lot of other guys coming up eventually too. So worst case scenario, we have him just locked up for 8 years longer than we want. Which means, like, I mean, there's still, like, Vincent Tan and stuff like that coming, so I'm excited to see who ends up also getting 8-year contracts. Like, I'm assuming Nguyen's going to get an 8-year contract when we have the time to do that, because I think he's definitely going to be one of the best pitchers we have on this team going forward. Him, Iwamura. Jung's maybe going to be, like, a number 3, number 4 guy, I feel like, in the future, but hopefully he's relatively cheap. And, yeah, we're just going to keep on scrolling through this for a while still at this point. I think he's going to end up being cheaper than Iwamura was, because Iwamura, I forget how much we were paying Iwamura at the beginning of the contract, but I think Walter Jung's going to be much more affordable for us. Under $170 million looks like, which is good. I don't know what the lowest we're going to be able to go on him. This contract will take him all the way till he's 33 years old, so he should be declining by then, so this should be a good contract that he doesn't decline too early. Yeah, we might be actually able to get him on a really good contract here, because that interest meter is still full, and we're already into less than $20 million. Okay, now it's starting to go down a little bit. So I might be able to hypothetically get him for something like 117 for 8 years, which would be 14.6 AAV a year. Let's try this. $117 million. Hey, Jung accepts that. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. We're also thinking about Leonard Sato getting a multi-year deal just because of the fact that he's also getting closer to free agency. Oh boy, this is maybe going to be expensive as well. He's only 24. 6-year deal would take him to his 30, which is not bad. No, he's definitely going to be a lot cheaper than some of the starting pitchers for sure. I might have to wait till the offseason to offer these guys contracts. Would you take $35 million for 6 years? 6 years is only 30 years old. That's not too old, but I just don't want to risk that he's going to drop off earlier than that. $35 million. We should. That's like $9 million a season. That's not bad. That's not really that bad. I'm gonna give him maybe an extra year on that. I do really like Leonard Sato. He's an elite reliever. Him and Tom Coos. So 7 years, $45 million. Cannot afford it at this time. Oh boy, we're gonna have to wait till the offseason on the rest of those guys, unfortunately. But at least we got one guy signed up. Let's begin to sim the rest of the AA season, because obviously we want to see how AA finishes off and their prospects down there do. Yamazaki's no longer injured. Oh yeah, that's right, because he was injured at the draft and we could not put him back into the lineup, so I need to go back to the majors and make sure he is in the right spot, which he currently is. That's good. When we put Takashi against the lefties just to balance it out a little bit, so that's all good and ready to go. Hey, we actually won another game. We've now won 18 games this season, so I think we're definitely going to hit 20 wins in the major league, which is very exciting. Yamashita's been injured with back stiffness. Let's go auto on that. Let's just make sure he's right in the right spot again. I just want to make sure my prospects are actually playing, because if they're not, that is not a great thing. Yamashita in this mid-relief pitcher, that's good. So we're going to continue to simulate AA's rest of their season. They're still having a bit of a rough time, but then again, they don't have any starting pitchers. Tom Lee has strained his tricep, so that's not great. Let's go auto on that. But obviously, he's up there for potentially winning Rookie of the Years. Walter Cho has fractured his forearm. He'll be out for 1 to 2 months, so that actually kind of sucks. But he is a little bit older than some of the other guys on the roster at the moment. Let's make sure Tom Lee is back in the right spot, which he currently is. Good. That is good to go. Oh, yeah, I was going to readjust the lineup based on batting average, I think, in the major leagues. So maybe I'll do that here quickly. So yeah, let's go back and readjust this batting order. Maybe a little bit here. Let's see, 188, 242 for Sato, which gets him above everybody else almost. Yeah, might as well reorganize this a bit just to set up the guys in good spots. 238, so that's all good and reorganized. Yep, that's fine. Perfect. And then in terms of this order, we'll readjust this a bit too. 242, I think, is above that. Yep, 242 is actually pretty damn high for Sato. Yeah, I'm excited to see what the awards are looking like this season, because if we actually have Tom Lee win Rookie of the Year, that will be our first major award with this franchise. So we are trending in the right direction if that's the case. Yamazaki, yeah, was going to be benched on lefties, but I could throw him in there, but I don't really know if I'll do that. The rest of that will stay the same. I'm not going to adjust double and triple A right now. I don't feel like it. And yeah, we'll keep the rest of that the same. Okay, let's go back to AA. Did we win 20 games yet? Yes, we've won 21 games now. We've won 3 games after that last game against Seattle. So it has been a good season for the Tropic Turtles. 6 wins now in AA. We need to call up players, obviously, now because it's a September call-ups, which means we got to call up a couple players. How much players do we got to call up again? We're at 23 out of 26 in the major leagues. Do we need to call up people yet? Let's just see. Do I need to call up people yet? Yeah, I do. Let's just go sim to September call-ups. There we go. Now we could actually call those people up. Alright, so yeah, we need still 5 more people called up, it looks like. So I'm going to have to call up people that aren't that good. Means I might need to restructure this stuff a bit. So let me actually go to single A here. And we'll move these guys all from single A to a double A, just to make sure that roster stays full. So we'll move all those guys to double A. We'll move these guys to... Or this guy I can move to the MLB, actually. I don't really care who I call up. Actually, I already have enough major leaguers, so he'll stay down there. Our major league pitchers, I think. So I need to call up, like, infielders. We need to move somebody from double A to triple, so let's just go with this guy. I still need 5 people, or yeah, 5 people up in the major leagues, I think. Actually, maybe not 5 people, maybe it's only 3. Let's just call up 3 and see if that's all I need, because I honestly don't know what I need to call up here. So we'll move Champlain Whitfield. There's 1. We'll move Alberto Ortiz. Technically, I could move Philip Chung up, but I'm not going to do that yet. I would rather wait till next season for him. And then we'll also call up Stephen Hubbard. And that should be all I need, right? I think that should be all I need. I might need to readjust still the lineup afterwards, but let's get through the rest of the AA season if it's pretty much good. You must have 20. We need 2 more people up there. 2 more people, so I actually might need to still make some more free agent signings. Let's call up, I don't want to call up Solomon. I need probably more infielders, so Munoz, you can come up. You need to come up, though, because I don't want to call up anybody else. Don't want to call up my prospects. I want my prospects to get as much development as possible, which means they need to stay down there for now. What else we got here? Juan Nieves. Can I move him up? Yes, I can. Perfect. There's probably going to need to be some guys signed, my guess, now. Do not have a valid pitching rotation in AA. Okay. Oh, September call-ups are always frustrating with just adjusting this, but it is what it is. So that's all set up. That's all good still. Okay, so pitching should be good, hypothetically, now. If we get the rest of AA season done. Let's see. Do not have enough positional players on the roster in AAA. So we can move a couple positional players from AA to triple. So we can move Ziborinsky to triple. And let's also just move Chris Price to triple and see if that's all I need to do. If now AAA doesn't, or AA doesn't have enough players, then we know we need to sign some players. AAA still needs more players. Goddamn, man. Yeah, this is why I don't like September call-ups, because it gets kind of frustrating, all these additions you have to make. But it is what it is. Let's see if that's enough now, and if I could get the rest of this simulated. They just need their lineup adjusted now. Okay. Well, that's not as bad. Let's put Tadahito Taguchi in the lineup since he's a prospect of ours, but we need him. He's a catcher, though. That's the only thing, so maybe I shouldn't. I'll swap him and Ishii because Ishii could actually play left field, so he should be able to play right field hypothetically. So we'll do that. And that's what we'll do for AA. Let's get the rest of the AA season done if that works now, which apparently... Oh, it was AAA that needs to be adjusted or lineup. Okay. So let's just put some people in. What do we need out there? We need a left fielder, so let's just put Ziborinsky and Price. Yeah, perfect. Actually, I may need to address their other lineup too. Let's see. Yes, I do. Of course. So much adjustments here. Let's just do that. Boom. All right. Now we should be good, hypothetically, right? Okay, we need more players in AA, which means we do need to sign free agents. 2 free agents, at least, probably. This is friggin' the frustrating. So we need 2 guys. Let's just sign Sam Nash. Yeah, Sam Nash, you could sign that contract. Thank you. And Alan Quintero. And now we need to adjust our overalls, and we should be good. At least I would hope so. So let's go back to the outfield here, and we sign Sam Nash. We need to adjust his ratings. This part's so tedious. Like, I love this game, but I do not like this tedious part of every off-season. We have to, like, nerf a bunch of players. Actually, I want his durability a bit higher than it was before. I don't want all these injuries, especially when I'm adjusting this roster every single off-season. Okay, so Sam Nash is signed up. There you go, and adjusted. And then we just need that center field signed or edited as well, which is Alan Quintero. Woo. Yeah, this takes a lot more brain power editing this than some of my other games. So I gotta actually know what I'm doing here. But yeah, I'm excited to see if Tom Lee wins Rookie of the Year. I think he probably should based on the amount of home runs he's had. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. We should have enough players now, I hope. I may need to sign 1 more, but let's see if we get that done. No, we need to sign more. God damn, man. Alright, did they already get assigned to AA? They might not have got assigned to AA. Those guys. Oh, no, what was it? Sam Nash needs to be AA. There you go. Now this should be okay. I forgot that they didn't get assigned to AA yet. So that should be okay now, right? They should have the minimum amount. They don't have two valid lineups now. So now we need to actually throw those guys in the lineup, apparently. Wait, actually, there was this part. Tadahito. We'll swap you and Ishii. Perfect. Now we should be good. Now we should be good. Yes, we are. Perfect. Now I don't have to deal with that again. It's just nice. Alright, so AA season is coming to an end. And they are going to finish 7-62. 7-62. Let's start by going actually to the injury list here. Where was the injury list again? Roster, well, it wasn't there. Transactions, no, it wasn't there. Where was the injuries again? Trying to remember where the injuries were. Depth chart, no. Oh, maybe it was over here. Oh, yeah, there you go. Injured list. Let's go to the guys that are in AA that are currently injured. So, Eric Yamamoto, this is how good his season was. He played 100... Wait, he played in 100 games. Oh, yeah, he's a relief pitcher. Okay, but that's a lot of games to play. But 1-0, which is nice. 5 holds, 2 blown saves, 3.26 ERA, 1.4 whip. Looked like he had a pretty good year for Eric Yamamoto. So there is one guy in AA. Everybody else is major league injuries wise, so that doesn't matter. Let's now actually go to the AA pitchers. So we don't have any starting pitchers to worry about, but we do have a lot of relievers. So Charles Nakamura, 2-2 at 3.19 ERA, a 1.31 whip. Pretty solid year, looks like, for Charles and Nakamura. Obviously didn't start any games because he's a reliever. Eric Yamashita, a 2.9 ERA and a 3-3 record. He was also really good, up to a 65 overall already. Yeah, I'm liking a lot of these relievers so far. That's what I meant. We've been drafting pretty good relief pitcher-wise. Tom Ann had a losing record, but a good ERA, good whip. 73 strikeouts, not bad. All right, not too bad for his first season, I think. Tommy Wong, a 2.34 ERA and 1.09 whip. He looked like he was pretty good based on that. Eric Yamamoto, obviously, as we just saw. I think it was we just saw him. Or no, he was the one that we were just looking at injury-wise. Okay. Yeah, he was also good. Wan Yang Chang, maybe one of the worst of the bunch, but still, I mean, that's not that bad, having a below 4 ERA and a good whip, too. So, despite only being a deep potential, he might get a bit of a boost. And then Austin Choi was pretty good as a closer. 2.18 ERA, a .94 whip, 53 strikeouts through 57 and a fifth of an inning, I guess, technically. All right, so there is that. Let's take a look at the batters in AA and what they did. So Raymond Park, 17 home runs, 65 RBIs at 220 average. We know that his average is still not the best, but it has improved a bit. He did pick up a lot of home runs and RBIs this year, so he was one of the better batters, I would say, based on that. But his WAR is negative, so it's probably because his average was low. But in terms of actually like bringing in runs and stuff, he was able to do so. So he's up to a 65 at 23, not bad, but he is still that deep potential. So getting him outside of that deep potential is going to be hard if his average stays that low. Mark Taguchi at 228 average, 5 home runs only, but 45 RBIs, also up to a 65. Not bad. What's his WAR looking like? Negative 1.3. I think AA just didn't have a super good season, and that's why some of these guys don't look super good on paper. Walter Choi, 10 home runs, 43 RBIs, and a 248 average. That average is nice. 744 OPS is also nice, and a positive WAR. So Walter Choi might have been one of the stronger pieces down there in AA. William Chung, 8 home runs, 35 RBIs at 237 average. He has obviously battled injuries in the past, so I don't know if I would say this is a huge year for him, but obviously I think he's getting back to being a little bit more healthy, which is good. Hopefully he stays healthy in the future. He does have that A potential, so if he could live up to that, that would be great. Russell Yang, a 261 average for Russell Yang. Only 6 home runs, but 47 RBIs, a 691 OPS. He was not too bad. Also had a positive WAR, so not bad from Russell Yang. Jeff Ishii, no home runs this year in his first season, I think, or his second season, but a 29 RBI season. Batted only a 221. Not a great year, I'd say, for Jeff Ishii. He is a deep potential, so you got to set the bar a little bit low with him, but positive WAR, which is good. Richard Chen. Oh, okay. Richard Chen actually had a really good year. Kind of surprising. He had 8 home runs and 55 RBIs. He also had a 674 OPS and a 257 average. So, yeah, that's actually not a bad year for Richard Chen. Maybe gets a boost because of that. He has a C potential, so it would be nice if he gets to B potential at some point. And then Tadahito Taguchi played only 41 at-bats after he got called up from single A. And he was actually pretty solid. 1 home run, 5 RBIs, a 293 average. That's through 41 at-bats. And a 707 OPS and a -0 WAR, so basically just even. So that's not too bad from the guys in Double A, I would say. Some of them are going to get boosts for sure. Some of them might get a little bit of a knockoff, but probably mostly positive, I would say. All right, let's get the rest of Double A season done. They've won 35 games in Double A, so pretty good year for the Triple A team, I should say. I think that's because obviously we moved a lot of guys up to Triple A. So, and they finished with one more win, so 36 in 114 on the year for the Las Vegas Aviators, I think they're called. Let's start off with the pitching rotation, because we actually have pitching rotation prospects in AAA. So David Na, a 5.38 ERA and a 1.55 WHIP. Not the best, but he is up to a 76. He started 30 games this year and had 8 quality starts. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't fantastic either. Yeah, he wasn't fantastic either, but I don't know if I would say it was a bad year for him, but maybe it was. Robert Matsui was better than him, though. 5-19, a 4.59 ERA, and a 1.49 WHIP. In terms of his stats, 30 games started and 9 quality starts, so 1 more quality start better than Mr. David Na. So yeah, both of them up to a 76 overall. Both of them could make the majors next season, hypothetically, based on those overalls. Yeah, our pitching is starting to come together quite quickly here over these last few years. Kazuhito Hayashi, also kind of a little bit mid, 3-17. How many quality starts? He was really good in Double A, but Triple A so far has been a little bit tough for him adjusting. But 10 quality starts is the best out of any pitcher so far on this team. So he was actually maybe better than advertised. So those 3 guys all getting close to the majors. And also Vincent Tan's getting close to the majors too. 6-18 this season. Solid ERA, solid WHIP. Yeah, he was the best maybe out of the bunch. Let's see the quality starts. 30 games started and 13 quality starts. Yeah, Vincent Tan, the youngster, was the best pitcher so far in AAA. That's really nice. And then Ken Irabu was not too bad either. How good was he, though? This is his first season, so we got to take that into account. 30 games started and 15 quality starts. So the youngsters getting it done. So Irabu and Tan were the best of the pitchers, I would say, in AAA. Then it would probably be Hayashi, Matsui, Na. So I think in reverse order, basically, is how good the pitchers were. In terms of relievers, Yamamoto had a 4.89 ERA, 1.64 WHIP. He was a little bit bad as a reliever, but not terrible. What else we got here? David Lim was actually not too bad. More strikeouts than innings pitched, which is very nice. Hiroyuki Yamada was also pretty good. So a couple relievers did their job. And then Philip Chung as a closer is up to a 79 overall now. And he finishes the year with a below 1 WHIP. Yeah, really good year for Philip Chung. And he had 23 saves. He did blow 5 games, but with the quality of the roster, it's probably easier to blow games than it is not to. So Philip Chung is definitely Major League bound next season. I'd say a couple of these starting pitchers might be as well, which is very exciting. Maybe some of the relievers will be there too within the next 2 to 3 seasons. So yeah, pitching-wise, everything's coming together. In terms of batting, this is probably where we struggled, my guess. Maybe not. 18 home runs, 60 RBIs at 234 average for Charles Nomo, who's getting close to the majors as well. He'll probably be a third baseman when he's in the MLB because we don't have a lot of third base prospects. Because when I was looking at the depth chart, that's where it listed him as. 719 OPS is good, 1.9 WAR. Not too bad for Charles Nomo. Yokoyama finished with a 269 average. That's actually way better than expected. He has been a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of progression, but that's a pretty good year for William Yokoyama, who we definitely got to add to our 40-man roster for next season because obviously we don't want him to get claimed. Negative 0.1 WAR, so his WAR was a little bit negative, but not by much. Theodore Lee, 12 home runs, 63 RBIs, a 247 average. Not too bad for his second season in AAA. Definitely the worst of the bunch so far, but I think he's getting close to the major league level, obviously, because he's got great contact. We could easily play him in the major leagues right now if we really wanted. Robert Yabu at 206 average is dreadful, but the 11 home runs, 40 RBIs is not too bad. But that batting average is one of the worst I've seen in a while. Wow, okay. And yeah, negative 2.3 WAR, so he kind of struggled quite a bit. Vincent Seo had a solid season. 249 average, 54 RBIs, and 14 home runs. All right, not bad from DeCio. I like it. I'll take it. Philip Nishi at 211 average is not great, but the home runs and the RBIs is okay. He is a deep potential guy, so it's going to take a while for him to outgrow that potential, but I'd say he did okay, all things considered. Stanley Oka, 4 home runs, 48 RBIs, a 233 average, up to a 67 at 20. He's apparently one of the better prospects that we have in our system at the moment, so he was okay considering he's only a 20-year-old in AAA right now. And then that is it for batters in AAA. So now we can focus back to the MLB. We've won 25 games now on the season, and we only have a total of 6 games left. So the most we could finish with is 31. I don't think we're going to win 30 games because we'd have to win 5 of these last 6 games, but 25 wins this year is definitely a lot better than I anticipated with this roster. So very excited to see what we finish off the season like. Let's go auto on Sasaki. We have 29 players on our roster, so we're going to have to send somebody down. So let's go to the bottom of this list here and send down this Nieves guy to AAA. Perfect. That should be good and all ready to go. Let's get the rest of this done. See what we could do here. Yamazaki strained his tricep again, but he will miss the last game of the season, which we actually won the last 2 games of the season. We finished 27 in 135. That's by far our best season in the majors so far. And apparently we already got to the playoff stats. Oh no. Oh, it didn't erase the stats. That's good. Okay. That's good. Let's take a look. It looks like we might have actually had that award Rookie of the Year because there's a notification, as you guys can see right here. Maybe that is that Tom Lee is one Rookie of the Year. We'll definitely take a look at that here shortly. But first, let's take a look at our Major League stats. So Parker Iwamura, 3-12, 167 strikeouts through 187 innings, a 4.72 ERA, and a 1.35 WHIP, up to an 89 overall, which is pretty damn amazing. Wow. So 17 quality starts. That's one of his best seasons yet for Parker. And his FIP was not the best of his career, but still, it's on the right path of going back down from, obviously, his first season. So yeah, Parker Iwamura is doing decent, obviously, still getting paid big bucks, but it will be going down as the years go on, which is nice. The next player, Walter Jung. Oof, 2-23, a 5.79 ERA. Oof, yeah, it looks like a rough year for Walter. However, we did see the FIP rating was good in the starting of this episode, so maybe that will change things. 9 quality starts, that's his second best season in terms of quality starts, so that's a positive. Much better than last year, I would say. And yeah, that FIP rating is really good. That FIP rating is really good, so I don't really know what to make of Walter Jung, because he didn't have, I would say, a great season based on ERA and WHIP, but his FIP was good. His quality starts was the second best of his career. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what I would make of that season for sure for him. Stan Nguyen, 7-12. That's actually one of the best records I've seen from a pitcher on this team so far. A 3.73 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP. Really good rookie year from Stan Nguyen. Let's take a look at the quality starts. 32 games started, 16 quality starts, which is exactly half. And that FIP rating was really good in his first season. So Stan Nguyen is looking very good. And he's definitely probably going to get like a +3, +5, something like that. These guys don't matter too much because they aren't guys I don't care about too much. Leonard Sato is a reliever, 3-4 with a 3.67 ERA and a 1.31 WHIP. He had 198 strikeouts as a reliever, which is kind of crazy because I looked in between episodes and he was almost one of the high. I think he was the highest pitching strikeout thrower as a reliever. Like the next closest for relievers was like Contreras, I think. But looks like a pretty good year. Yeah, very good year for Sato. Not as good as his first 2 years based on FIP, but still. Leonard Sato is a beast, and we'll have to lock him up in the offseason for sure. Fujinami doesn't matter too much. He wasn't very good, and he's dropped down to a 51. Yeah, he's probably going to be testing free agency soon enough. Tom Koo, elite numbers as a reliever. No wonder he made the All-Star game. 2.45 ERA and a .94 WHIP. 5-3 record through 135.2 innings. Yeah, Tom Koo is great. Tom Koo is great. 3.49 FIP. He has been excellent these last few years. So shout out to Tom Koo. And that is it for pitchers. In terms of batters, this should be interesting because we have a lot of batters this season in their rookie years. Looks like some roster adjustments happened near the end of the season. But Kevin Sato, a .254 average, 14 home runs, 51 RBIs, up to a 75 at 27. He is 27 already, which kind of sucks, but he's had 2 solid years to start his career. Way more home runs this year than last year. His average did drop off, but his OPS improved. And also his WAR improved drastically. Yeah, not bad. Good year from Sato. We should probably lock him up soon too a little bit. He is 27 though, so not too long term. Brian Chu was also really good. 17 home runs, 57 RBIs, a .241 average, up to a 72 at 23. And he built off last season as well. More home runs, more RBIs, a much better average, a much better OPS. And the WAR was also positive compared to negative. So a couple guys definitely improving. Michael Wong, who we took in the Rule 5 draft, was pretty solid this year as well. As a pickup, 69 at 23. 7 home runs, 41 RBIs, .247 average. Yeah, I'm impressed with some of these guys in the major league so far. I like it. Takashi, because apparently Yamazaki's on the bench because he's injured. At a .234 average, 15 home runs and 32 RBIs is pretty solid too. He has played 2 years with us now and put up similar numbers in both of them. The RBI is a little bit lower, but 15 home runs in back-to-back seasons is not too bad. The average around the same. The OPS was better this year, though. And then the WAR was also a little bit better. So a little bit more disciplined at the plate, I guess. And then Tom Lee, 21 home runs in his rookie season, 56 RBIs, but only a .208 average. So it was a great year for Tom Lee in terms of the home runs and RBIs, but the average definitely is something we need to improve. His vision and discipline's not bad, so I'm expecting him to be better average-wise as the years go on, but very solid rookie year for Tom Lee. And he also had a negative WAR, probably just because of that batting average, but in terms of other stats, I do really like the home runs especially. Like 21 home runs as a rookie is a very solid season. Sasaki, 196. Oof. A little bit of a rough year for him, but 13 home runs and 25 RBIs, so he's definitely more of a home run hitter for sure. That average will get better as that vision and discipline gets better, I think. And that WAR is probably negative. No, it's positive. Okay. Not too bad. And then we also have a couple other guys on the bench. So Peter Yamazaki was pretty solid this year as well. 12 home runs, 34 RBIs. Obviously, he was injured a couple times throughout the season. But a solid year from Yamazaki. .277 average is really nice too. And that .817 OPS. So he was definitely one of the stronger players on this roster at the moment. And also at 2.3 WAR. So shout out to Yamazaki. Philip Nishi didn't play at all because I guess he was called up, right? Yeah, he was the one that was called up, I guess, at the end of the season. Brian Shin is still there, which we didn't take a look at him yet. Let's see, we got 7 home runs, 37 RBIs, building off last season. Better average, better OPS. Yeah, most of these guys improved a bit. The WAR, not so much for Shin, but that's okay. That's okay. I think that's it. I think that is it. Let me double check on the injury list here. Yeah, we do got an award winner, so it's got to be the Rookie of the Year. It's got to be. The injury that we didn't take a look at, Walter Cho. How good was he this season? Not super good. Not super good. His ERA was super high. His WHIP was better than last year, so at least that's an improvement. And that WAR was better as well. Okay, so that is Walter Cho, and those are player stats. Let's see if Tom Lee has won the Rookie of the Year, or was it somebody else that maybe won Rookie of the Year? Let's see. It is the Rookie of the Year is Tom Lee. Let's go. So we do got our first award. We'll take a look at that here, just because every other award doesn't matter too much. Looks like the Blue Jays won a lot of awards, though. But Tom Lee, your Rookie of the Year. Let me just move my face for a second so you guys can see that fully. Looks pretty awesome. And Peter Yamazaki finished 3rd in rookie voting. which is pretty awesome considering he was injured for a good chunk of the season throughout it. So Tom Lee, our first award winner on this team. Obviously, the batting average, like I said, not super great, but the home run count, the RBI count was very, very solid. So hopefully he can get that average up there in the next few years. But pretty impressive what Tom Lee's been able to go through, because I think he started as a low C potential or even a high D potential, and he's been able to outgrow that to a B potential and now a Rookie of the Year in the MLB. So that's very awesome to see. And we wouldn't have had any other award winners because it would have let me know about that. So that is that. Okay, now the question is, what's going to happen in this offseason? This is going to be probably a long episode, I feel like, at this rate. But let's see who ends up winning the World Series. Actually, I do need to make sure. When is my staff here? We wanted to go to the staff, right? Where do I look at my staff here? I guess I can't look at that now. But I was going to say I wanted to make sure I have all my staff signed up already for next year, because I feel like my staff has definitely helped out the team a lot. But the LA Angels are going to get it done and win the World Series in 2031, as they have beaten the Atlanta Braves, just in case you guys were wondering about that. No, let's not advance the offseason yet. I do want to see, did Mike Trout actually win something here? Because he's an outfielder, right? Mike Trout. Or did he retire? I think he probably retired by now. Yeah, I don't think he's on this team anymore. I don't remember what position he plays. Yeah, I think he retired, unfortunately. Damn. But they beat the Braves in the finals. All right. Okay, so we need to get ourselves a farm director, because our farm director apparently decided to retire. And also our hitting coach as well decided to retire. That's not great. Okay. Retire players for the season. We did lose more players to retirement, which means we are going to have to replace some people, potentially with more free agent signings this year, which kind of sucks. But we had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers retire this time around, so not a ton of pitchers. And we had 2 outfielders. We'll just write 2 outfielders because those guys are generic pretty much. And 1 second baseman. So not a ton of retirements for us this offseason compared to prior years. The same Nash guy literally just signed recently has retired, which is kind of funny. None of my prospects retired, which is good. So it's not guys that matter too much. All right. No Hall of Fame inductees this year. Do I want to sign Fujinami? He's 37 years old. I'm kind of surprised he decided not to retire, but he has obviously dropped off a lot since we took him way back in the Rule 5 draft in the beginning. Yeah, he's not very good, and there's also a lot of other relievers in the system that deserve an opportunity, so I don't think I'm going to give him a contract. So Fujinami will let him go. We do need to sign a hitting coach and a farm director, so let's do that here. Now that we have a lot of prospects in the major leagues, we should sign some actually decent guys to contracts for these coaching roles, just because that will help them improve a lot, at least in my opinion. And then farm directors, we'll go for, let's see, let's go for Caleb Cotham, sure. Perfect, that's good. And let's send him to free agency 1. Cotham is assigned as our farm director, and Vincent Redding is now our hitting coach. Nice. Yes, let's stop simulating for a second here. Okay, we're good. We are good to now start signing and adding people to our 40-man roster. So we need to add Yokoyama, because I don't want him to get claimed, because I think he would get claimed this year. Because last year he didn't get claimed, surprisingly. What else we got here? Taguchi needs to be added, as is Eric Yamamoto. Damn, we have a lot of prospects that need to be on this 40-man roster now, which kind of sucks, but we got to add them there just to not risk them getting taken. Eric Yamamoto, so relief pitchers, Yamamoto. Boom, that's good. And the rest of those guys don't matter too much, so I think we should be good. I wish there was an easier way to see if there was any other prospects I'm missing that are eligible to get claimed. Let me just go through this to, where was it that you could see this? So yeah, right here. Let me just go through this and see if there's any, oh, why does it not stay on that screen? God damn, that's kind of annoying. Because I wanted to just stay on this part of it so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Matsui is eligible for the Rule 5 draft, so I want Robert Matsui on my 40-man roster. I don't know why it doesn't show him. David Na is also eligible for the Rule 5 draft, so we got to add him to our roster. I don't know why it doesn't just show this in an easier spot. Because this is kind of frustrating having to go through it like this. Oh my goodness. Because I don't like even scrolling through this like that. I think most of these other guys should be okay, though. I think there's a way maybe to check it down this way, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think there's an easier way to take a look at this. Like, if it said it on here, that would be nice. So that way I could just sort for guys that are eligible to be taken in the Rule 5. Maybe I should just sort this by service level instead, because that will probably show me who's eligible to be taken. The rest of these guys should be already on my Major League roster, 40-man roster, right? I think so. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we should be good here. Vincencio is not eligible, so that's good. Same with you. Okay. Yeah, I think we should be fine with the rest of this. Philip Chung definitely needs to get added to the 40-man roster, though, because he's going to be probably on the Major League team next season, so gotta already do that. Yeah, the rest of this should be fine, I think. Nomo's not eligible yet, either. Yeah, we should be good. We should be good, at least in my opinion. Okay, so there's that. Now we got contracts to deal. And this is going to be a lot of work. So let's actually show you guys this part of it. The tender contract stuff I'll probably just do on my own. But let's do some contracts here. So we're thinking a 7-year deal potentially with Leonard Sato here involved. It's going to be a little bit expensive, but obviously we have the money to spend. And Sato has proven himself to be a very good reliever. So I think this is okay. Do we want to do front-loaded as well? And I don't think we need to do a loaded contract with him. I don't think we need to. I mean, I could just because we have the money right now. But also it could be a little bit risky. So I would probably rather just do a front-loaded right now. So let's do 55 million bucks, which is $7.9 million a year. That's not bad. Let's see if he'll accept that contract. Hopefully he does. We'll also try and get Tom Koo signed on a similar deal just because both these guys need to help out our bullpen a lot in the future. I'd say they're definitely like our aces of the bullpen, so to speak. And they're the exact same age too, which is nice. So we'll try and get Tom Koo on 42.5. So that's an average of 6.1 a year. So a bit cheaper than Mr. Sato. The rest of these guys are going to be really cheap here, or they should be. Let's just get Shi Young Liu signed up, even though he's kind of trash at this point. Hubbard and stuff like that, we'll just do the fill out a roster. So let's get you for cheap. Boom. We might not even need some of these guys anymore, to be honest, to fill out a roster, but it's more just in case. So we'll just get those guys all signed up here. But, yeah, should be pretty easy to sign most of these guys here and fill out the last part of our roster. And then hopefully next season, the youngsters that we just drafted are going to fill out the other spots. And then we can make some other decisions. So eventually, we're not going to have to sign anybody in free agency other than our picks. I don't know why that started at $16 million. Let me retry this again here. You know, I'm going to let go of... Actually, I need closers. I need to hold on to Perez. So let's offer arbitration here for Perez for 1 year. I don't really care too much. Jonas Strong. Let's get you signed up just to give us some depth. And Travis Reeder as well. What the heck is he trying to get that much? Let's offer arbitration on him too. Alright, so that should be good on that front, which means now... I'm going to do the contracts here in the tender contract screen just because there's a lot of them, and I'll see you guys at the end of it. Okay guys, so I got all the contracts offered out, so they should all sign up, and same with these guys, which means we should be pretty much good to sim to the next free agency portion. So let's do that and see if all those guys accept those contract extensions. Let's stop the sim for a second here. So we do got arbitration for those two. Young Jiu has not accepted yet, but he should probably soon because he's not going to get a contract anywhere else, to be honest. And tender contracts, we are good with those. Perfect. That's good. That is good. Which means we got our 2 relievers signed on long-term deals. So this is what the contract structure for Leonard Sato is going to look like. $7.9 million a year for the next 7 seasons. I think that's a great contract just based on what he's done in a short career so far. And Tom Koo as well, getting locked up for 7 years is great considering what he just did this season. So we have our bullpen with our future 2 guys. We got our top 2 pitchers signed up for the future for long-term. Nguyen's going to be eventually signed long-term. The pitching is definitely looking good, which is nice. Okay. So let's continue to simulate here and get to the draft lottery stuff and all that. Because I'm very excited to see where we're drafting next season. Hopefully it's a good draft class ahead as well. Because if it is, that will definitely make it easier to get this team to being a playoff team sooner rather than later. Because we're almost going into year 9 already, which is kind of crazy that we're this far into it. Also, I think... Oh yeah, I was going to see if Irabu is appeared at all or not. I think it was Irabu. Yeah, it was Jason Irabu. Can I do player search here still? Yeah, I can. I want to see if that closer has appeared yet from the drafts that we were mentioning before. I don't think he has, but just in case. No, he hasn't. Yes, there's the Philip we have. It's not Philip Irabu I'm thinking of. It's yeah, it's Jason Irabu I was looking for. Okay, whatever. Let's continue simulating, getting through this off-season. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what this team's looking like next season. Because I think, obviously coming off this season that we just had, I think there's a realistic chance that we'll maybe be able to actually turn this team into a playoff team once it's actually filled up and people are like all in like the 70+ range overall wise. Because I think on paper, we definitely didn't look super good going into last season, but we managed to do so good. So, we managed to do a lot better than anticipated. And you can see that we're not ranked 30th in every single position anymore. The only one is center field, apparently. So maybe we need some more outfielders in this upcoming draft. Okay, today is the draft lottery for 2031. Obviously, we have the best odds. We finished 27 and 135, which was still quite a far off the Orioles, but we are starting to actually not be as terrible as we were in the beginning, because obviously for the first number of years we didn't win a single game, which is pretty insane. So the question is now, where are we drafting in 2031? And hopefully once we get to the actual start of the season and stuff like that, there is some good prospects in it that we could take. Do we have the first overall pick this year? We have only had one first overall pick so far, and we fall to 3 again. We just don't have good luck in terms of winning the draft lottery, apparently. So the San Francisco Giants are drafting first overall, followed by the Marlins, and then it's us, the Tropic Turtles. We always never win the draft lottery. I don't know why, but we just never seem to. Alright, that's okay. Let's continue to sim up to the Rule 5 draft just to see if there's anything we could take in it this year. I don't know if I will take much because obviously we have a lot of players already at the moment, but might as well see if there's anything we could actually take. So... is there anything we could take that could potentially help us out here? We're looking obviously for Asians only. Asians only. Who is the highest starting pitcher Asian? And that will be our base to see if there's anything better than that. Nobody. Okay. What about relief pitcher wise? Yeah, I'm seeing a lack of Asians in these Rule 5s a lot. But that's okay, because we do already have a lot of them on our roster, so might not need anybody anyways. Nobody there. First baseman. Michael Kuo. I do remember Michael Kuo because I think that was the guy I was scouting out potentially. 64 is good overall for a first baseman, but we already have a lot too. We already have Theodore Lee, we have Raymond Park, we have Russell Yang, Russell Lim. Those are the guys that we actually drafted. This guy would be technically... I don't technically know if I want Theodore Lee in the major league yet. I don't know if I want the other guys in the major leagues yet. So Michael Kuo could be like a stopgap in the major leagues if we want to. He does have some okay contact hitting and vision discipline. We're obviously having only D potential. He's not super good. But maybe that would be okay if I didn't want Theodore Lee to be in the majors next season. Because Theodore Lee is not right now on our 40-man roster, as is Park, as is Yang, and stuff like that, I think. So, actually, Russell Yang is eligible to be taken. I didn't even realize we put Russell Yang in that spot, but I don't think he's going to get claimed because he's too low of an overall for his age. So, would I would take Michael Kuo? I don't know. I don't know. There might be other options. Hey, look, Michael Fong. I remember him when you guys were telling me to draft. He dropped down to a D potential. He's playing right now in Chattanooga, which is interesting. We do need more second base depth, and well, Yokoyama will probably be in the MLB, but we could use more second basemen. But the thing is, I'd have to play him in the major league level, or else he'd have to pass through waivers, right? Wow, Xander Bogaerts dropped down to a 63 at 39. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if I would take Michael Fong, to be honest, at this rate. We do need more second basemen, but I don't think he's worth it. Robert Yabu also was eligible to be taken this year, but didn't add him either. But I don't think he's going to get claimed too. He's just not good enough. So I don't think any teams will take probably some of those guys, but hopefully they don't. We don't need shortstops. We already have a lot of them. Outfielding is probably one area where we could use maybe some more, if there is one. So we'll definitely take a look through here. Not seeing anybody. Oh, there's Lee Cho. Lee Cho, I do remember this guy as well. We do need center fielding prospects, technically. This guy would be just as good as Phil Nishi, though. And, Shane Sasaki and such. I don't know if I need him, though. He is a younger option. Walter Choi is ours. I don't know why he's eligible. I didn't even see these guys listed on the guys that could get claimed. That's kind of frustrating, but oh well. I don't think I'm going to take anybody based on what I'm seeing right now. Like, who does it recommend us? A relief pitcher. Recommends us a reliever, which there is no Asian relievers, so. At least not that I saw. Just going to double check and make sure. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take anything in this Rule 5. So we're going to just skip through it. Even though there is options out there, I just don't really need them. And I would rather my prospects get an opportunity than some random guys in the Rule 5 draft. And only 3 people got taken in the entire Rule 5 draft, so none of our guys, so that's good. That is good, okay. So that's all good and ready to go. Let's continue to get rid of this offseason because we shouldn't need to sign any filler players potentially, but I don't know for sure, which is good. I just want to make sure we get through the rest of this fast so we could set up our team for next season, see what the class looks like. Because this episode's probably already, like, I don't know how long it is with the cuts and stuff, but it's probably pretty long. Okay, so Reader's signed, Perez is signed, that's good. Just needed those guys to sign for the roster to fill it out. So let's go to spring training. And let's see what we got here. Who do I want on the Major League roster? Who do I not want on the Major League roster? Wow, okay. I definitely don't want, like, Taguchi on the Major League roster and such, but I think I'm already going to sim it to next season, so that way I could adjust the starting lineup a little bit. Yeah, let's just do that and see who it automatically keeps on a roster. Let's see. So if I go to pitching rotation, Iwamura, Jung Nguyen, Na, and Matsui. I don't mind it because those guys are already up to 76s, so we could give them an opportunity to play. If they play bad, we could obviously put them down to triple. That's not a problem. Cho and Yamamoto as relievers. That's okay. We'll leave Perez and Strong up here. Chung needs to be the closer. Sato is definitely not a closer. Sato is a long reliever. No question about it. Tom Koo is not a setup guy. He's a mid reliever. We're going to use these other no-name dudes as like setup guys and such because I'd rather those guys be in the right spots. Okay, that's good. In terms of Double A, what else do we got here for starting pitchers here? Not a lot. I'm going to have to probably sign some more starting pitchers. Those are all prospects I've drafted. Who wants to be the closer? Any of you guys could be the closer. I don't really care too much on that front. Austin Choi was actually the closer last year, so we'll move him to the closer spot. But yeah, we're going to need more pitchers signed up, I think, before we actually start simulating, unfortunately. Who else was a starter here? Anybody else was a starter? Nobody else was a starter. Damn, we're running out of starting pitchers in the minor leagues. So we'll just get in some no-names into these spots because those guys don't matter as much. Yamada could go here. We'll put Davila as the closer or something like that for now. But yeah, I'm going to have to probably sign some more pitchers, which is unfortunate. So there's that. And then in terms of lineups, we are going to make sure that we have all our prospects in the lineup at least. So let's just, yeah, we'll just put our top overall rated players in the higher up parts of the lineup. So, but we're starting to run out of prospects. Like just Shane Sasaki, who was taken in the Rule 5 draft, is now in AAA. But that's okay because their Major League team is definitely getting better. So we'll get all these guys higher in the lineup. So that's all set up and good on that part. Oh my goodness, there's so much setup stuff to do every single offseason. So we'll get the 67 up there, the 65 up there. Oh, Brian Shin even got sent down to triple. Yeah, our Major League team is starting to change form, and that means our double and triple A teams are looking a little bit barren, but that's okay. That is okay. Let's adjust this and just go based on overalls in the MLB. Yeah, this team is starting to take form. I'm actually really excited to see what this season's going to be like. Because this could be a good year, in a sense. Not like a playoff year, but definitely much better than anticipated. Oh, Charles Nomo on the bench. I don't want Nomo on the bench. I don't want Taguchi on the bench. Yeah, I'm going to have to send Taguchi down. Oh boy, there's so much additions. So I'm going to have to make some cuts and stuff probably at this part of the episode because I need to make some decisions and I'm not too sure on what I want to do exactly. Okay guys, so I think I finally addressed the roster. I think going forward, starting at the end of this upcoming season, I'll probably end up splitting the off-season in two parts in a sense. Like we'll probably simulate the rest of the season in part of an episode, and then the next episode would be the actual off-season just because I've been recording literally for an hour and 23 minutes. I don't know how long this episode is at this point with all the cuts and stuff, but I've had to do so much roster adjustments and stuff that these episodes are just going to be getting super, super long otherwise. So yeah, in order to keep them short, I think that will probably be the best option. But anyways, we have a couple more things left to do still to wrap up this episode. Let's simulate through the first week of action because we should be able to then see what this draft class is looking like. And I'm hoping that there's some good Asian talent in it. But first, let me actually take a look. Do we got our same scouts as last year? Yes, we do. Okay, perfect. That's good. I want to just make sure that none of them are tired. We have 41 players on our 40-man roster, so we actually have to take somebody off our 40-man roster, which I will take, I guess. Oh, Barrios and Romano got automatically added to the 40-man roster. That's why. Huh. I will take Romano off, I guess. Does he have minor league options? Yes, he does. Okay, good. So we'll remove him, but he'll have to clear through waivers. That's okay. Let's just do that. Perfect. All right. We need to also address AAA's lineup, and we won our first game of the season, so that's pretty damn enticing. I think this year is going to be a good year for this team for the most part. Like, we're going to start winning games a lot more now. Let's put in these random guys I signed for the roster fill out. That's good there. And then lineup wise, we'll just throw in you. Sure. And we'll do the same one here. And then we will also make sure that triple or double A is addressed, which it is. Okay, that should be good. That should be good. Okay, let's continue to simulate through these first 3 games against the Blue Jays. We won 2 of 3. Wow. That's pretty damn impressive. We literally just barely lost that last game, too. Okay. I think this is going to be a really surprising year for this team, based on that alone. As the Blue Jays last year were a really good team, I think, so. 27 players on our active roster in AAA, which means we need to move somebody from AAA down to AA. We might need to send somebody to single A from that. So let's send Nieves down to double. And now double's over, so let's send somebody from double to Class A. And that should be good. That should hopefully get us to be able to simulate without having any problems. Once again, AAA needs more lineup adjustments. Holy crap, man. This episode is literally kind of annoying just based on how long I've had to record for. It is what it is, though. Okay, that should be good now. That should be good. And yes, it is. Okay. 3-4 in our first 7 games. Is this the year the Tropic Turtles make some major adjustments? Because literally last year we had almost 30 wins. We already have 3 wins in our first 7 games this year. We're not even in dead last in our division so far, so who knows, maybe it'll keep up. But then again, last season we had some stretches where we were really good, and then we lost every game in the following week, so never know how next week will be. Auto on that for Tom Cho, and we win another game too as well. We're 4-5 at the time of being able to scout, so this team is starting to come together, which is pretty damn awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at this upcoming draft class. We have the 3rd overall selection this year. Is there any good Asian talents we could draft this year? Let's see what we got. Is Jeff Reed from an Asian country? No, of course he's not. Peter Blackburn. I'm thinking of Pete Blackburn on Twitter. That's hilarious. What we got here, though? What do we got here? Give me an Asian talent, please. It's not looking like it again. Oh, I'm going to have to just go through this problem. Ooh, Vincent Chang as a closer. Ooh, okay. This actually might be an okay draft. We do need more closers. We do have a really good closer right now, but Vincent Chang might be really good. He's definitely a guy that we're scouting out in the next episode for sure, based on that. Just double checking some of these white names as well. Mamula. I don't know where the heck that last name is from, but I don't know if it's an Asian last name or not. Probably not. David Chu, a starting pitcher as well. Hey, that's 2 guys in the first round potentially. Okay. Okay, we're starting to see some more prospects here in this draft class, at least early on. But then it's probably going to drop off considerably, knowing my luck. Let's see, is there any other names that we could potentially get out in next episode? Walter Lee. I think he was in last year's draft class. He could be a very high overall reliever. Holy crap. He would definitely be worth scouting out. Because based on the 10% scouted, he looks like he could have a high overall and maybe a high potential, but he also could be a low potential. Like, he could be a 75 overall with 74 potential, my guess. Ooh, yeah, he's definitely worth scouting out. And he's from Florida, which is interesting. So he's an Asian American. What else we got here? Anybody else? Saito? Yep, Jeffrey Saito. A third baseman. We do need third base help. This actually might be the draft class that we've been waiting for a while, which is very exciting. It's not necessarily the most insane draft class, probably, but it's definitely better than some of the ones that we've seen over the last few years. What else we got here? There's got to be some more of them, right? At least you would assume. Now it's going to drop off, right? Definitely going to make sure, though, that I don't miss any Asians in between episodes. So I'll definitely probably make like a list of everybody if I could remember. Tom Chen, starting pitcher, also might be worth scouting out for sure. Could be a good starting pitcher prospect. We're already in the late stages of this draft, so maybe there's not as much as I thought, but there's some early on ones, which is good. But will that mean other teams are going to be taking them? This guy's name is Woody Valley. That's hilarious. I don't know if he was in last year's draft class. I feel like he was because I made fun of him because he's Canadian too. Like, he definitely sounds like a redneck version of us Canadians. What else you got here? Jonas Luis. Okay. I don't know if Luis is in this draft class still or not. Yeah, this is definitely not as much Asians here later on. Michael Yamamoto, I think I remember him from last year. More relievers that we could potentially draft. Always decent, I guess. Wow, we're only like halfway through this draft class. Vincent Wong, another relief pitcher. Yeah, some of these guys were in last year's draft and they didn't show up at the actual draft class. There's Luis. He will re-enter the draft again. Just in case you guys were wondering. Maybe, at least he will. He's supposed to go late in the draft. There's David Kua, catcher, that's worth scouting out for sure, just to see if he actually is draft eligible. We don't really need too much more catchers, but still he might be worth taking if he's actually draft eligible. Or jumps into the draft, I should say, because he's definitely eligible, but... Yeah, it definitely drops off after the first few players, but that's okay, because it looks like we're going to be able to get ourselves maybe a good closer this year, just to have some good competition with Chung a bit. Yeah, that's probably almost it for Asian talents already, so there might not be a lot of them, but hopefully we could draft a good chunk of them. David Key, also, here still. Obviously, he was there last year, I'm pretty certain. Unless it was just a guy with the same last name, which I don't think so. Charles Morai as well. Might have good contact for a first baseman. Yvonne Louise. Damn, there's a lot of Louises. Jeff Chick. What a name. What a name. We're almost near the end of the list already. Yeah, not as much players as I was hoping for here early on. But still, yeah, that's it for the draft class. So, obviously, I think the guys that definitely need to be scouted out are Vincent Chang. And then also the pitcher, David Chu. Those guys for sure. One of them will be my first pick. The other one, if they're available, would be my second pick, I think. And then there's that third baseman or whatever as well. Okay, so there's that. And I think that's pretty much it, guys, for this episode. I know it was a little bit of a long episode, but off-season stuff takes so much work. It's going to be a while for me to edit this and get it ready for you guys to watch and stuff like that. But let me just think we should do in terms of scouting for the upcoming draft class. I think it's going to be a decent draft for us. But at the same time, the team's starting to win games. We're 4-5 literally in our first 9. So I think this might be a year that we actually maybe hit 40-plus wins this season based on how last year ended up. So let me just think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.